A hidden CCTV tape from Princess Diana's final night has just surfaced, and it's nothing like the official story. The footage is clear, time-stamped, and deeply disturbing. Buckingham Palace is in panic mode. Questions are exploding worldwide. What was hidden for 27 years and is finally out in the open? The footage that no one was supposed to see. It began with a file no one expected to see again. A CCTV recording, thought to be lost, buried, or destroyed, suddenly reappeared, and the shockwaves hit Buckingham Palace within hours. The footage didn't come from a tabloid or a royal leak. It arrived anonymously, slipped to a foreign journalist via an encrypted drive. Inside, clear, time-stamped video of Princess Diana's final night in Paris, shot from multiple angles, security cams, hotel lobby views, and what appears to be street surveillance near the Alma Tunnel. The timestamp? August 30th, 1997, just hours before Diana's death. But here's the twist. The footage contradicts key parts of the official timeline released after the tragic crash. It includes scenes that were never mentioned, faces never identified, and actions that don't match the story we've been told for 27 years. The footage surfaced from a private archive, rumored to have been locked in a Swiss security vault tied to an international insurer. How it got there and who sealed it remains under investigation. According to sources, only a select few had access to this footage in 1997. Names whispered in royal corridors include MI6 handlers, senior Met Police officials, and a top-level security liaison connected directly to Buckingham Palace. So why was this footage hidden? One internal memo from the late 90s allegedly warned of severe reputational harm if any alternate footage became public. Some now believe the footage was buried precisely because it showed too much, not just of Diana, but of what surrounded her in those final moments. The palace's initial reaction was swift and stunned. Multiple insiders confirmed that King Charles III was briefed within 12 hours of the footage going public. Crisis teams were mobilized. A private meeting was held at Clarence House, with emergency calls made to senior advisors and legal teams. "We knew this day might come," said one royal aide, "but not like this, not with the whole world watching." Because the truth is, this footage wasn't supposed to exist anymore. And now that it does, it's turning decades of history and royal trust upside down. What the CCTV really shows. This isn't blurry, speculative footage. It's crisp, time-stamped, and unnervingly clear. Every frame is marked with exact times, location tags, and clean audio fragments that suggest the original security system was high-grade and well-maintained. What we see in the footage changes everything. Princess Diana, dressed in a soft blue top and clutching her handbag, appears on screen at 10:22 p.m., far earlier than officially recorded. She's seen speaking to a man whose face has never been identified in public reports. He's not Dodi Fayed, nor one of her bodyguards. This unknown individual is wearing what appears to be a communication earpiece. In another clip, the vehicle they were expected to use is shown parked at the back exit. But moments later, that car disappears, replaced by a different model, same make, same color, but with a separate license plate. That vehicle leaves the hotel at 10:47 p.m., not the 12:20 a.m. departure officially recorded. Inside the vehicle, Diana appears calm, but guarded. Analysts have already pointed out subtle signs of tension. Her grip on the seat, her glances to the rearview mirror, and her lips moving slightly, as if quietly praying or mouthing instructions. Then comes a frame-by-frame view of the road. One clip shows the car slowing near a service road, stopping briefly before speeding again. Another shows a motorcycle following closely, not part of the paparazzi group identified in the original reports. Its license plate? Still unidentified. Audio fragments included in the footage are limited, but what's audible is chilling. Change route. Not this way, and then static. All this leads to one chilling reality. The official timeline of Diana's final hours is no longer reliable. The footage doesn't just contradict it, it dismantles it. Investigators, analysts, and former intelligence agents have now been pulled in to assess its authenticity, and all signs point to one conclusion. The footage is real. The question is, what else does it reveal? Buckingham Palace reaction. Containment mode. Within hours of the footage surfacing, Buckingham Palace triggered what insiders are calling the highest level of internal security response since Queen Elizabeth's passing. The situation wasn't just sensitive. It was explosive. An emergency meeting was held at Clarence House on the morning of the leak. Present were senior communications officials, royal legal advisors, and trusted palace aides. According to a leaked memo titled Red Protocol, Diana Exposure 1 Phase 1, the royal household had contingency plans in place should anything from that night ever resurface. Still, few expected this level of clarity or this kind of impact. The first step: silence. A no-comment line was immediately distributed to all staff. Press officers were ordered not to confirm or deny the footage. Legal teams were activated to monitor and block dissemination, focusing on international channels and independent investigative sites. King Charles III was reportedly briefed in private just after 7 a.m. Sources close to the king say his reaction was a mix of disbelief and tension, with one aide claiming, "He looked like someone had reopened a wound he thought would stay buried forever." But the most intense reaction came from Prince William. According to insiders, William demanded an immediate explanation. He reportedly asked how the footage had gone missing, who had buried it, and why his mother's final hours were never fully revealed to him. A royal courtier said his tone was firm, not emotional, but there was rage beneath the surface. "He's not just a future king," the aide said. "He's a son who just found out part of his mother's story was erased." Catherine, standing by his side, reportedly advised, "Calm," but the fury around them grew. Behind closed doors, some senior royals expressed concern about the footage's authenticity, while others feared a new wave of conspiracy theories would eclipse the monarchy's efforts to modernize. Meanwhile, legal advisors began tracing the source, not just to block it, but to understand how a 27-year-old recording could go dark for decades, only to return now, in the digital age. The palace was no longer in control. The world had seen too much. And next came the real nightmare. The footage didn't match the official version of events. The timeline no longer adds up. For 27 years, the royal family, the French authorities, and the public have followed the same accepted timeline of Princess Diana's final night. Now, that version is falling apart, frame by frame. Experts examining the footage have already confirmed that several key time markers directly contradict the official police records from August 31st, 1997. First, the departure time. The footage shows the car leaving the hotel at 10:47 p.m., not 12:20 a.m. as claimed in the official inquiry. This alone undermines hours of reported activity, including conversations with staff, dinner with Dodi Fayed, and the alleged paparazzi chase. Second, the vehicle swap. Official reports insisted the couple left in a black Mercedes registered to the Ritz, but time-stamped video shows two different vehicles in play. One appears to be deliberately decoyed, a tactic typically used in intelligence protection routines, not standard hotel security. Third, the tunnel footage. New visuals suggest the vehicle entered the Alma Tunnel nearly 18 minutes earlier than police records state, raising serious questions about response times, emergency delays, and whether or not the crash occurred exactly as described. The presence of unidentified individuals throughout the night, particularly a man in a white shirt and earpiece, is now central to the growing speculation. He appears in at least 3 separate angles, each time within close range of Diana, and vanishes just before the crash sequence. These discrepancies aren't minor. They change the entire shape of what happened and why it happened. Former investigators are now stepping forward. One, who worked on the original French inquiry, told a foreign news agency, "We were told the footage had gaps. We didn't know the footage was this detailed or this different." Meanwhile, royal biographers, whistleblowers, and even former intelligence officers are speaking out, confirming suspicions they've harbored for decades but could never prove. Because when the timeline collapses, so does the credibility of everyone who told us what to believe for the last 3 decades. And the public? They're no longer asking if something was covered up. They're now asking who did it and why. Was something deliberately covered up? As investigators and media outlets piece together the newly surfaced footage, one question now echoes louder than ever. Was there a deliberate cover-up? And who was behind it? This is no longer a matter of rumor or speculation. The re-emerged footage exposes undeniable contradictions. Timelines don't align. Locations are misstated. And the vehicle itself, the one that carried Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed, appears switched before leaving the Ritz. The footage was real. It existed. It was time-stamped, archived, and hidden. And somehow, for over 27 years, it was never submitted in full to French or British investigations. So how does something that important disappear? Insiders are now turning the spotlight toward those who had the power and motive to make that happen. Former security officials say the footage passed through multiple hands in 1997, including the Metropolitan Police, French intelligence, and even royal security advisors. But only partial clips were ever released. One former investigator, speaking anonymously, claimed, "We were told that camera feeds malfunctioned. Now we know they didn't. We were told what to see and what not to." So who gave those orders? Some believe this wasn't just about avoiding embarrassment. This was about protecting the institution, the monarchy, the government, or perhaps both. The footage, if fully revealed back then, could have triggered diplomatic tensions, constitutional crises, or worse, a full public revolt against the monarchy. And let's not forget the most painful truth. Diana had enemies, not just in the tabloids, not just in politics, but possibly within the system she tried to step away from. Her humanitarian work had become global. Her influence stretched beyond borders. She was building a voice, one that no longer fit within royal expectations. And if someone feared what that voice might do, suppressing a few tapes, altering a timeline, and redirecting attention might have been easier than facing the truth. But if that's the case, the biggest question remains: why now? What's changed in 2025 that allowed this footage to reappear? Some say a retired staffer had held on to the copy, waiting for the monarchy to shift. Others believe an insider finally reached their breaking point. And then, there are those who believe the footage was never fully lost, just waiting for the right moment to explode. Whatever the reason, the damage is done. And for Prince William, it was the breaking point. Prince William's personal breaking point. Prince William, this wasn't just another royal crisis. It was the reopening of a wound that never fully healed, and this time, it came with video proof. Sources close to the prince say he was shaken when shown the recovered footage, not by the clarity of the images, but by what they represented. The monarchy that raised him might have hidden the truth about his mother. According to multiple insiders, William demanded a private briefing from senior aides. In that meeting, he reportedly said just 5 words: "I want the whole truth." What followed was days of private conversations, closed-door meetings, and a quiet confrontation with the palace's top advisors. William, known for his discipline and restraint, was no longer interested in official lines or media-friendly narratives. This time, it was personal. Some say he even confronted King Charles behind the scenes, not in anger, but with steely disappointment. Whether or not Charles knew about the suppressed footage remains unclear, but William is said to have made his position firm. "If there's more, I want it out." The emotional toll was clear. Those around him noticed a shift, less guarded, more direct, less diplomatic. One aide described it as the prince stepping out of the institution and becoming a son. Behind him, Princess Catherine provided calm, measured support. Though she made no public comment, she reportedly played a crucial role in managing their staff, shielding their children, and helping William navigate the emotional chaos. Privately, William's anger has now become a mission. Some believe he is quietly considering his own statement to the public, or even demanding a parliamentary inquiry into how the footage was hidden for so long. Insiders say this moment has deepened the rift between William and some senior figures in the palace, especially those tied to the old guard. There is tension, yes, but also a sense that change is coming. Because for Prince William, this wasn't just about protecting the monarchy. It was about finally honoring the memory of his mother, truthfully and without silence. And in the words of one royal advisor, "He won't let this fade away. Not this time." The media firestorm reignites. The leak hit the public on a Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, it was everywhere. Sky News, BBC, and CNN all ran breaking banners. Never before seen CCTV footage from Diana's final night surfaces. Within 18 hours, over 120 million people had viewed it online. TikTok edits, slowed-down clips, and voiceover breakdowns filled social feeds. Hashtags like #DianaTruth, #CCTVLeak, and #BuckinghamUnderFire topped trending charts in 20-plus countries. This wasn't tabloid gossip anymore. This was evidence, and the public couldn't look away. Major documentaries rushed production. Talk show hosts demanded answers. Even normally cautious royal commentators called the footage a game changer. And then came the theories. Some said the video showed MI6 involvement. Others believed foreign agents were tailing Diana that night. Many noted the mystery man in white with the earpiece, a figure never mentioned in official reports, appearing in multiple frames, then vanishing. But for every conspiracy, there were experts bringing credibility. Former detectives from the Operation Paget inquiry began reappearing on air. Some admitted they were never shown full tapes. One even revealed, "We always suspected we didn't get the full picture. Now we know it." Body language analysts, ex-intelligence officers, and even former hotel staff weighed in, identifying altered details in the footage, calling out inconsistencies, and confirming the timeline now had holes you could drive a car through. And then, public opinion split. Many demanded justice. We deserve to know what really happened. This isn't just a royal issue, it's human. But others, especially older royalists, urged restraint. Let Diana rest. The family has suffered enough. Still, the tide was shifting. Petitions launched calling for a new independent inquiry. MPs were pressured to comment. Questions about state involvement, press manipulation, and what else has been hidden began dominating political shows and breakfast news. Even Republicans used the moment. If they could lie about this, what else are they hiding? This wasn't just a media frenzy. It was a storm the palace couldn't contain. The shadow over the monarchy deepens. As public scrutiny mounted, so did pressure inside Buckingham Palace. Because this wasn't just about Princess Diana anymore, it was about the institution itself. The reappearance of the footage cast a long, dark shadow over everything the monarchy has worked to rebuild since the 1997 tragedy. Approval ratings for the royal family dropped nearly 11 points in 1 week. And for the first time in over a decade, a clear majority of 18 to 34-year-olds in the UK said they no longer trust the monarchy to be transparent. The footage had reawakened decades of distrust. What else had been hidden? What other royal truths had been quietly buried? Critics, both domestic and international, seized the moment. Labour MPs began calling for a formal parliamentary review of historical royal secrecy. One MP even argued on live television, "We've protected institutions for too long. Diana's story was personal, but the cover-up, if proven, was political." Commonwealth countries, many already reconsidering their ties to the monarchy, reignited their debates. In Australia, headlines asked, "Time to cut the crown?" In Canada, talk shows questioned whether they were backing a symbol built on secrets. Back home, Republican movements gained traction. Groups like Republic UK doubled their donations in 3 days. Public squares filled with protest signs showing Diana's face, captioned, "She deserved the truth, so do we." And inside the palace, morale collapsed. Staff reported confusion, fear, and conflicting directives. Senior aides were split, some urging transparency, others advising silence. The walls that once protected the royal image were now being cracked from the inside. A royal household staffer was quoted saying, "There's panic. No one knows how far this goes." Because once the public saw Diana's final hours with their own eyes, it no longer mattered what the palace said. The people were watching now, and they weren't going to forget. Hidden allies and silent enemies. As the fallout grows, a new layer of mystery emerges, not just about what was hidden, but who helped hide it. Behind the resurfaced CCTV footage lies a network of quiet players, former palace staff, intelligence contacts, and royal insiders who have kept secrets for decades. Now, some of them are breaking their silence. A former security officer who once worked on the Diana protection team told a foreign outlet, "We were told the tapes didn't exist. I knew that wasn't true." He didn't name names, but his words confirmed the worst. Somebody lied, and someone else held on to the truth. Whispers suggest that a former royal archivist, long retired, may have saved a duplicate of the footage and sat on it until now, waiting for the right moment. Some insiders believe this act wasn't driven by revenge, but by conscience. Others aren't so noble. Sources close to the palace say key individuals involved in the original investigation may now hold senior roles in law enforcement, media, and even government circles. Their names are being protected, but their decisions, made 27 years ago, are now under renewed scrutiny. And what about intelligence agencies? MI6 is once again at the center of speculation. Former agents confirmed Diana was being monitored in her final months, not for safety, but for surveillance. She had connections, influence, and plans that made many powerful people uneasy. She was no longer just the people's princess, one former diplomat said. She was becoming a political figure, and that scared some people. Even more haunting, the role of those who once opposed Diana behind palace walls. Critics now revisit past tension, including figures in the Queen's inner circle who clashed with Diana during her divorce and saw her as a destabilizing force. What did Queen Elizabeth II really know? When was she told the footage existed? And did she give the order to bury it, or simply allow others to handle it for her? With the Queen now gone, those questions may never be answered. But the shadow has been cast. Enemies still hold power. Allies are now speaking, and the royal institution stands on dangerous ground. What happens now? Will the truth finally come out?
The monarchy has survived scandal before, but never like this.
This time, the lie didn't come from a tabloid. It came from a screen, a timestamp, a voice, and a video that shouldn't exist. And now that it does, the royal family is cornered. Prince William, still processing what he's seen, faces his biggest test yet. Will he demand a public inquiry? Will he address the nation? Or will he allow the palace to handle things quietly again? Some insiders say he's preparing a formal statement, carefully written, aiming to acknowledge the pain without burning the palace. Others believe he may go further, pushing for transparency, even if it means upsetting his own father's reign. Meanwhile, the public waits. Polls show nearly 60% of Britons want a new investigation. This time, independent, international, and unrestricted. Legal experts warn that the Crown's immunity may now be challenged. Parliamentary committees are quietly assessing next steps. And journalists, once silenced or ignored, are back on the hunt with real evidence. But most chilling of all, this may not be the only secret. There are still whispers of more footage, additional files, audio tapes, and even unreleased witness testimonies connected to that night in Paris. If the CTV tapes were buried, what else was locked away? "We've opened a door," one former palace staffer said. "And what's behind it might shake the monarchy to its core." Because the real question now isn't what happened to Diana. It's who made sure we never knew the whole truth. And if this secret was buried for 27 years, how many more are still out there? This tape has shattered the silence. If this truth was buried, what else have they hidden since Diana's final night?